Hello and welcome to We Got Issues, the only comic book podcast that maintains that Eric Larson's canceled run of Nova is worth picking up from the dollar bin, if nothing else, just for his covers. Hi, I'm Brian Compton, aka BComp, and joining me as always is the Wonder Man to my beast, Josh Markwith. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. So the intro, the Nova covers, how good is that that run?
It's 7 issues long.
Oh, okay, so it's a long one. So
it came and went. It was that quick. Yeah, it was when Eric Larson was kind of hot on Savage Dragon. It was like the late 90s, and like it was like, oh my god, Eric Larson's so cool in Savage Dragon. So they started like he came back to Marvel to do like some Marvel stuff, and I think he did some Spider-Man, and I think it was a little bit of Nova, and it literally went like 7 issues, which it's kind of fun actually, but especially when you have those like Eric Larson covers, but I don't know if you need to go any further than those 7 issues. That was it.
Yes. No. and then apropos with the Wonder Man and Beast, I appreciate that. That's a good friend group. But also, did you see the Wonder Man trailer?
I absolutely did, and I know that I'm like in that like we need to let Marvel rest for a little bit, but it seems like this show is self-aware about how Marvel needs to rest for a bit, so I'm kind of excited for it.
I am. I don't know if the trailer sold me yet, so I need to see more. I'm excited for the character, but I need to see more. I kind of saw it. I was like, oh, okay.
I'll be honest, like I'm like a low key like Wonder Man stan. Like I don't have follow his appearances, but whenever he does show up in a book, I'm like, oh, Wonder Man's here. That's great. Oh, I'm gonna love this.
First of all, I've seen your place. You have a huge Wonder Man like poster, and just
like a mural. Wonder Woman.
Oh no, it's a Wonder Man. No, it's the Simon Williams mural in the back that your wife is not too happy about still to this day, and yet you will not take it down. So it's kind of
him in his sunglasses and a Speedo. I mean, can you go wrong with that?
Right, exactly. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I mean, other people might see something wrong with it. No, but look, I mean, we'll see how that goes. We'll see how this next year Marvel goes. It's going to be a big one.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the last few projects have been good. I actually enjoyed the FF. I enjoyed Thunderbolts. There was something else that they did that was like, oh, that wasn't bad.
Spider-Man show.
I only watched the first episode of that, but anyway. Yeah, moving on. I didn't think it was bad. It was one of those things that I wish my kid was into it so I could watch it a little bit more, but he just didn't care. So I'm like, whatever. I let it pass.
Don't let that stop you.
Yeah, I got better things. I got not better things to do, but I have more important things to do than get caught on my couch watching cartoons by myself, by my wife.
I don't know what's more important than that, but okay, I guess we're just leading 2 different lives.
Well, as I said, I broke the toilet this week. What's the priority?
Well, that's true. Still, that's a Saturday. It's a regular Saturday for me.
Fair enough. Well, let's get back on track. In this episode, we're heading into the great beyond with one of Josh's favorite books. And no, we're not talking about the 2008 miniseries Ultimatum that kneecapped Marvel's first Ultimate Universe. And no, we're not talking about the 2003 miniseries Trouble that attempted to retcon Aunt May as Peter's mom. No.
I can't even fake liking that one. That was just creepy and weird.
Mark Millar and Terry Dodson, and it was a choice. That's all I will say. We should definitely do like an episode, like not worst comics, but like more like what the hell were they thinking?
Yeah, instead of what if, what the hell?
Yeah, exactly. No, we're talking about
hit the jackpot tiger when he's holding the con. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah, It's funny. One of the things I did read in preparation for this book, which we should probably tell people what it is, was Civil War, which was also written by Mark Millar. And I was like, oh man, like, you know, he has his way of writing things. I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyway, yes, we are talking about the other miniseries that came out at the exact same time as Civil War, Annihilation. This is a miniseries that saw Marvel's cosmic universe of characters and settings completely upended and set the stage for films like Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, of course, before we can head into the final frontier, somehow, some way, we still have a sponsor. Josh, do you want to tackle this one? Yeah, it is crazy.
I will. It's crazy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you're looking for the best treats this side of the negative zone, and stay tuned to the episode, they'll be way funnier later on in the episode. You need to check out Duff and Shaw's world famous snacks. I mean, they got from wild cherry dogman gummies to Bigfoot smoky kettle crunch. These snacks and candy have been curated from the most mysterious and undiscovered places on the planet Earth. And you know what? We need you to head over to duffandshaw.com/issues today and check out all they've got and more. And that's duffandshaw.com/issues. And that helps out the podcast, and you get some great treats. And also, so it's like a win-win-win-win.
Win-win-win-win. When we win, we all win. Little office there.
Oh.
On that note, you reminded me actually right after we recorded last time. And by the way, sorry about the hiatus. We had some life events come up. Josh had a lot of life events. Yeah. You know, it was it's my wife's birthday. It was a lot of things came up, which happy birthday to my wife. But
happy
we had a lot of
to Brian's wife.
Happy birthday to my wife, my beautiful wife. So life events came up. So we apologize about the hiatus. We're gonna get back on track moving forward. Just that being said, you told me we hit our 1 year anniversary, I think, just recently.
We did. You know how I know that?
How's that?
We
had payments.
Yeah,
we had payments due.
I had the 1 year bill. I had the 1 year bill for like SoundCloud, and that was like, oh hey, we've been doing this for a year. That's kind of crazy.
That's right. Well, and some of the money that we've made from dufandshawsnacks.com/issues has been gone to fund some of that.
It's all that money has been gone to fund it. So yeah,
still operating in the red, right?
It's a slow burn. That's what this is.
That's what it is. Well, no, that's another podcast, which is a good podcast, by the way. Slow burn. Josh, you have made no bones that this is quite possibly one of your favorite events, if not one of your favorite comics of all time. Am I wrong in saying that?
No. I have been a champion of this book.
As long as I've known you,
a long time. It's because I was a big fan since like college, because that's when it came out, when I was in college, and I was just like, I was blown away by it. And just by all the writing, it got me more fully into the cosmic Marvel universe, which was kind of not so great at the time. And
no, it wasn't. And there's a reason for that, which we'll get into shortly.
No, for sure.
Where do you rank it though? Like in your hierarchy, would you say I mean, I don't want to say it's number one, but like it's top 5, top 3. Like what would you say?
Top 5, definitely top 10.
Wow. Okay.
Of just all time. I mean, definitely top like 5 or 3 of Marvel.
Yeah.
And then just definitely top 10 of just comics in general. It is the perfect meld of writing, art, and just this. It's so expansive. It's so fun. I love this book. I just love this book.
Well, they recently just put out the second volume in Epic Collection form about a couple weeks ago. So would you do me the pleasure of reading the blurb on the back?
I would love to do the pleasure of reading the blurb on the back. It gives me pleasure to read the blurb on the back.
I just want to hear your dulcet tones, baby.
I was about to say, I think the audience gets pleasure from me reading the blurb on the back. Excuse me. Exiled and on the run, Ronan the Accuser faces the deadliest woman in the galaxy, including Gamora. And as war rages across the universe, Richard Rider, the new Nova Prime, must marshal a united front against Annihilus and his lethal Annihilation Wave. Drax the Destroyer, Peter, Star-Lord Quill, Moondragon, and Phyla-Vell join the fight to guard the galaxy. But what chilling plan does Annihilus have for Galactus? Whose side is Thanos on, and what will happen when he faces down Drax? Can Ronan save the Kree Empire from Annihilus's forces? And how can Nova's ragtag team possibly defeat the Annihilation Wave, stop the war, and save the galaxy?
How indeed? How will they do it? Luckily, the answers are in this
pretty
book.
Sure we're gonna freaking find out. Yeah.
Yeah. So while the actual event / miniseries took place over 6 issues during the month of August in 2006 through January of 2007, the roots of this series and the tie-ins leading up to it actually began much, much earlier. The first official book with the Annihilation branding was the prologue one-shot that was released in 2006, which led into 4 overlapping miniseries that then led into the event from April, and then they all took place between April through July, and then that led into the actual 6-issue miniseries Annihilation. The miniseries were Nova, Super Skrull, Silver Surfer, and Ronin. Did you read all of those, by the way? We're going to get into them shortly, but did you read all this leading into it, or what was your take on
I was just about to ask you, how did you read this initially? Like for me, I was initially I read the Annihilation like every issue, like single issue when it came out. And then I went back to the tie-ins because at the time, again, this was like at the same time as Civil War, right? So Civil War had so many tie-ins.
Oh, dude,
so it was oversaturated with tie-ins, so I didn't even like register them really. And I think that's once because I got the prologue again, like when it came out, and I was like super ready. But then I just missed the tie-ins, and then I was into Annihilation. So because there was again, like I said, it was oversaturated. Almost every other book, like if it wasn't an Annihilation tie-in, it was a tie-in to Civil War.
Yeah, absolutely.
On every Marvel book.
Yeah.
And they did all those like half covers too. At least some way or another.
I missed a lot of the initial stuff with Annihilation. Like I missed the Drax miniseries. I missed the prologue. But because like I like certain characters that were popping up, and I was like, Annihilation, what's this? Oh, Annihilation Nova? Yeah, I'll read this. Like, what the hell? Or Annihilation Super Skrull. Like I actually really like the Super Skrull as a character. I love his character design. What ended up happening, though, ironically enough, is like I want to say it was a girlfriend I'm going to blame a girlfriend I was living with at the time. Someone spilled water on them, and so like it ruined like the first couple issues I had. Like they were just like warped, and I was just like, I remember like, well, I'm not going to buy these anymore. I'm not going to go rebuy issue number 1 again. And so I kind of just dropped out until Annihilation actually started, and that's when I read the series and was like, oh, that was really great. And again, there's a reason for a lot of this, and we're actually going to get into that sort of IRL history right now. Because, Josh, you're really into this. Guardians of the Galaxy, that's kind of like it's kind of like it's a known entity at this point, wouldn't you say? Like at least because of the MCU, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, for sure. I mean, it was one of the more popular trilogies, and it was like a driving force of Endgame too.
Yeah,
like so, it's a well-known property now in the within Marvel and MCU. Like, you would not imagine that your parents would know who Rocket Raccoon was,
or Groot, or Nebula, or Gamora, or Peter Quill, aka Star-Lord, or any of these cats. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's funny because I actually just got my kid. For some reason, I couldn't get him to watch some of the other Marvel movies. He's seen some of them in the movie theater, but he really latched on to Guardians. Like he loves Groot. Like that's his jam. He loves Groot.
He's a big James Gunn fan. He was a big fan of Superman too.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's funny because so we ended up doing Guardians 1, 2, and now we just finished we finished Infinity War, which of course he was like, wait, Groot's dead? Like what the like what?
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, don't worry, buddy. No, let's watch
Who's that?
more. You'll be fine. But the point being is like it's they're so like, oh yeah, they're just like an entity. They're a known quantity now. Like everyone knows who Star Lord is and all of those
Yeah.
cats. But like roughly 20 years ago, no one knew.
Oh my god, you just blew my mind that it was 20 years ago. Oh my
But this
god.
event, yeah, yeah,
This
yeah,
event.
yeah, yeah, 20 years ago.
Oh man. So
Well, sorry, guys.
this is why my joints creak. This is why my joints creak when I get out of a chair or something. Good lord,
Yeah,
I'm old.
exactly. Well, despite what you with the MCU and the Guardians of the Galaxy films, which have you, there was a point in Marvel Comics where the cosmic stuff was dead throughout throughout the 90s. There was like all that stuff. There was the Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet,
Yeah.
and there was Infinity Watch and Thanos Quest, Infinity Crusade, and Adam Warlock, and the like Warlock Chronicles. Like there was, you couldn't shake a stick without hitting something in like Infinity or Cosmic. And then, hell, you could even like argue like the Secret War stories were even a part of that, with the Beyonder and all of that, and them going
Mhm.
off the battle world and all that. And then it just sort of like kind of faded into the background. Yeah, you get like an occasional like Silver Surfer story. You get like the Nova series, aka like that Eric Larson stuff, which that Nova book was more about him like, I'm a teenager with superpowers and working as a drive-through chef, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But overall it was dead. Now, why was that? The reason is very simple. What happened to all the cosmic stuff? I mean, like throughout the 90s, it was huge. And then all of a sudden in the 2000s, it just comes to a screeching halt. And it's two words: Joe Quesada. The rise of Joe
That's
Quesada.
kind of the answer to a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing is with Joe Quesada, like I think he's a remarkable artist, and I do think that he did help turn Marvel's fortunes around because Marvel was struggling in the late 90s.
Well, I
But
mean,
it's like,
yeah.
what's up?
No, yeah, no, I was agreeing with you. I mean, what was the you take the good, you take the bad, you put them together, and then you have Joe Quesada. Joe
Simply was it.
Quesada.
Well, yeah, it is that. It's like there's a lot of good and there's a lot of bad. And one of the things though is like with Joe Quesada is he just didn't. He even said he's like, I don't get the cosmic stuff, and he preferred to do street level heroes, your Daredevils and your Spider Mans, and all that ilk, and kind of was like, yeah, I don't care about any of that stuff. So it kind of put a moratorium on like the cosmic stuff. Like I said, occasionally you get like a Silver Surfer series, but overall, like just that the space side of Marvel had been like kind of thrown out. It was done. So, by and large, after a few years of inaction, there was an editor who was working at Marvel. His name was Andy Schmidt, and he saw that there was an untapped market here. He's like, "Hey, we have a chance here to tell stories that no one on characters no one cares about anymore, or we can like reintroduce these characters and create a whole new thing." And everyone's like, "Yeah, dude, cosmic books don't sell. Like, you should stop. Like, knock it off. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it." And he kept like pursuing it and kept pursuing it. He's like, "Hey," and so this all eventually leads to like, and this is like in the early 2000s, like 2003, 2004. They brought Jim Starlin in to do a Thanos run, like an actual book on Thanos. But he only lasted like 6 issues, and he's like, I'm out. I told what I want to tell. So they still needed like 6 more issues. And this is where like Schmidt's like, I've got my chance here. I've got my chance here.
But also, what was Jim Starlin's connection to Thanos?
He created Thanos.
He created Thanos. That's right.
Yeah. So they were like, but Starlin was like, I'm out. And they're like, okay, cool. And so we still have 6 more issues to go. We got to do the second arc of it. So he's like, here's my chance. I'm going to bring in this guy named Keith Giffen.
Who knows a thing or two about cosmic stuff.
He knows a thing or two. He literally is like one of the main voices behind the Legion of Superheroes over at DC.
Mm-hmm.
He's both an artist and a writer. And normally we kind of save the creative teams for later, but I think it's important to talk about how important Keith Giffen is right here. So, Josh, I'm going to actually hand that baton to you.
Squared.
Yeah, there you go. I'm going to hand the baton to you because I think this is where you kind of shine.
Yeah, Keith Giffen is one of my favorite writers of all time because he does such a great job of this overall storytelling and story structure, but also is so funny. He his writing is very comedic as well. So he's a fun writer, and he's kind of really predominantly known for his work at DC, like we were kind of saying with Legion of Superheroes and the 80s Justice League International, which, I mean, we've talked about that so many times. He's the one he's the punch, the one punch.
Yeah. Well,
And
him and, DeMatteis and
yeah,
McGuire. I mean, that book. I mean, there's a reason those issues. I thought it's like what, it was like 80 issues altogether, 100 issues, or I mean, I forget what it was. I mean, with international and Europe and all that, but yeah,
right. With characters you wouldn't think would be
yeah,
successful, which that's a
absolutely,
running theme of his career.
yes,
He he does one of my favorite tropes. Not my favorite trope, no, but it's like one of my favorite things that he does is he takes C, D level characters and elevates them to mainstream A
hmm
characters.
hmm
And he's also like the co-creator. He's been attributed as a co-creator of like Rocket Raccoon, Lobo, who's going to be big in the mainstream coming up,
hmm
Ambush Bug. And if you haven't heard of Ambush Bug, you're not alone because he's not a well-known character, but he's a fun character.
yeah,
And Jaime Reyes, the third Blue Beetle, who had the movie, the Blue Beetle movie,
yeah.
and is a really fun character as well. So he's one of my he's one of my top tier writers. Like anything
He,
that he had done,
mm.
I picked up for sure.
It's funny because you mentioned the fact that he's like a writer. It's like he got his start as an artist though. Like that was the thing is he was
Mm.
an artist before all this, and it's really hard to pinpoint what his art style is because it has changed dramatically over the years. I was reading an interview about him, and it was like talking about how like when he first started, he was like working as like a dock worker or something like that, or working in a factory. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna try doing some art," and literally just drew in Jack Kirby style. And they said like he was the closest they'd ever seen to a Jack Kirby. He did it for a few months. He's like, I'm done with this, and went back to like doing what he does and just like left and then like came back and did he just like lives his he just kind of lived his own literally marched to his own drum, beat to his own drum.
Yeah.
um I would say though it's because if he got his start as an artist that he's probably you know it's that's what I think made him such a good writer is he could think in paneling, he could think as an artist like here's what we need to do to kind of like help the pacing, help the layouts of the story, you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No, yeah. I mean, would you think that? Would you say that kind of contributed to like Frank Miller's success too? Like he started off as an artist as well,
I
and
would argue it definitely helps your sensibilities as a writer, to
mhm,
think, cinematically, and one of the reasons I also bring this up is, we talk about there over at DC, there's 52 and then there's New 52. New 52 was when DC relaunched their entire universe or rebranded or for a new audience, like everyone's new
rebooted.
again and rebooted. Thank you. But there was a series before that called 52, which was a issue a week for 52 weeks that they just put out. We're gonna do and it was great. It was and they
We're gonna
took
do an episode about it for sure because it's a
for sure.
great story. Like logistically crazy.
Yeah, even Marvel's like, there's no way they're pulling this off. They're not going to do a consistent book a week. There's just no way. They had Grant Morrison writing on it, Greg Rucka, Mark Waid, and Jeff Johns. But the guy who was basically doing all the layouts and the spreads for it all was Keith Giffen. And it shows like it's like that book is one of the most consistent book, even though they had like different artists like having to swap in almost every other issue. It is consistent across the board and talk about taking C-list characters. Originally it was supposed to be like, oh, where's Superman and Batman been for the last year?
Right.
It was like, it's like, oh, we're gonna work on the Question and we're gonna work on this character. It's like all these like C-level characters and Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and like it was
Renee Montoya.
phenomenal. Yeah, Renee
Yeah.
Montoya. Yeah. It's great.
And
And
so
again,
I say like Keith Giffen is more like he's like the showrunner, and
mhm,
52 is like his show. And the craziest part about that whole thing too, he was doing that at the same time as Annihilation,
yeah,
around the same time.
around the same time.
Two huge events
Yeah,
around the same time when
yeah,
52 would take somebody out
yeah,
alone. That
yeah.
is absolutely amazing and crazy.
So
Again, for
yeah,
people who don't like really know like just how like logistically comics are too, like you get an issue a month.
yeah,
It's so like Iron Man. would come out this month, and you'd have to wait a full month for the next issue.
Yeah.
This 52
was a 52
books in a year. Every week. It was never delayed.
Yep.
It
made every issue. It made every month.
Every issue. The storylines were very tight, and there was no fluff in these 52 issues.
Yeah.
And it had such a great ending as well. It's just 52 in itself is a feat that we will have we're going to cover, because I can't talk.
Yeah, you can't talk highly enough about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back on Keith Giffen for a second. So again, Schmidt and Keith Giffen, obviously their relationship worked out while they were doing Thanos together, and they're like, hey, this worked out. Let's keep this ball rolling. So it's around this point, though, that Marvel usually does like a retreat where they get all the creative teams together and they plan out the next 18 months of story. And Schmidt decides to pitch out all of his plans and ideas for all this cosmic stuff he's been building up. Now, it's interesting. At this point, though, writer JMS, J. Michael Straczynski, who's like, basically is like, hey, all this cosmic stuff sounds interesting. I want to run it. And they're like, okay, JMS wants to handle the cosmic stuff. Let's let him do it. He eventually didn't do it. It only lasted for like a day or two where that was going to happen. He ended up just doing like a Silver Surfer miniseries that was unrelated to this event at all. But it did allow them to kind of push the book back a little bit and kind of get them more time to lay down more groundwork for this upcoming event that, you know, Andy Schmidt wanted to do. This
and JMS is like he's not like really slacking in cosmic stuff.
Oh,
like
no.
What did he create? The Babylon 5, right?
He did Babylon 5. He did Babylon 5.
It was Babylon 5 or was Farscape?
No, it's Babylon 5. You had it right.
Babylon 5. Got it. Yeah. So, I mean, he's...
Oh, he's legit. Like, JMS is legit. Like, you know, despite the ending to his Spider-Man run, I really enjoyed his Spider-Man run. I like his FF stuff. I like his Thor stuff. Like, I really do like JMS a lot.
Yeah. I mean, his stuff was like the main inspiration for that amazing Madam Web movie.
Oh, well.
So
okay, well, that's not selling or helping that at all. So with this extra time though they decide to go back and they're going to revive and reinvent Drax the Destroyer in a 4-issue mini, almost like it's like a proof of concept. He kind of like Heath Giffen even described the Drax book is the appetizer to Annihilation's meal. Were you a Drax fan before the reboot of him, Josh, or what was your take on it?
Like, Drax was a fun character. He was fine. Like, this reinvention was definitely way better. Gave him an actual character instead of a cosmic Hulk. Basically.
Well, it's like even Keith Giffen's like, he's like, it's a brutish, huge, strong guy who's green and wears purple and says, smash this, smash that. It's like, we already have that. And so basically that's what Drax was pre Guardians of the Galaxy and all that. He was just a big dude in a purple cape with a basically a Martian Manhunter style like outfit, who's green and huge like the Hulk and like is dumb. And basically Giffen is like, we got to reboot this guy. And you find out like his backstory is now like, oh, when he was being created, there was a glitch in his matrix and that's why he formed that. And so we're just going to reform the Matrix again, and he's rebirthed as this intelligent warrior, much slimmed down, right? That's basically what the Drax miniseries is about.
Yeah. In Anchorage, Alaska, or like in Alaska somewhere, and him basically saving this little town from the Pybok and
the
Blood Brothers,
or the Blood Brothers and Lunatic or whatever was the poor man's version of Lobo.
Yeah, pretty much. And he kind of he didn't last through that whole series.
No, he did not.
But
well, Lunatic goes back to the 90s. It definitely was maybe even Keith Giffen created him too. But the book didn't do huge numbers, but those who did read it really enjoyed it. And like Marvel got really good feedback from store owners and from fans like, hey, this is really good. And so they're like, well, you know, if people are interested in this book and it seems to be doing well, let's give Annihilation a go. So from there, Schmidt decided to format the event very similar to how DC's Infinite Crisis had played out the year previous. Now, if you don't know, DC's Infinite Crisis was basically the same exact thing. They put out a prologue issue, You know, it was like it was the issue I had to find for you in Scotland. Remember?
Yeah. It was a what is it called? DC1 or no? It was something.
It was like the 99-cent adventure or dollar
Yeah,
adventure.
it was like DC Crisis or something like
something like that. But it was a prologue event. Then they did like 3 or 4 miniseries, like the Ranthangar War and 2 other like miniseries as well, that eventually tied into the actual event that became Infinite Crisis. And that's exactly what
Countdown to
Annihilation
Infinite
did.
Crisis.
Right? Yeah.
Sorry,
And so
Countdown to
Annihilation.
Infinite Crisis.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, so Annihilation did the same thing. They did a prologue, then they did these 4 miniseries like Annihilation, Silver Surfer, Nova, Super Scroll, and Ronin, and then that led into Annihilation itself. And it's like, hey, this worked. If it if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? Like, go with it.
We'll steal with it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And again, like I said, the cosmic part of the universe had been on ice for so long. They needed a way to reintroduce all these characters to a new audience, as well as like recater to old fans that have lapsed for a while. And so it also allowed them to choose which characters they wanted to follow. Like for me, I believe I got Silver Surfer, Nova, and Super Scroll, and I stopped buying them because, like I said, water spilled on them. But those are the ones I wanted to follow. So I like those characters. No offense, Ronan the Accuser. Don't care about a big dude with a hammer, at least at that point.
Yeah, now, that time he was not really like out of all of the other ones. Like he was very much the least well known.
Yes, like the last time I think I saw him is I think there's a series called Maximum Security, which is like where like they close down Earth for business because they're like, too much crap is coming out of Earth. All alien races just like close down Earth. It was kind of fun. Yeah. As you kind of had mentioned, Josh, like while all this is going on, Marvel has a entirely different miniseries going on back on Earth, Civil War, which, like you said, tied into damn near every single other book at Marvel at the time.
Yeah, at least everybody was having those, like I said, those half covers where there was like half, the bottom half was a solid color with the name of the book, and then the top half was just like an image. But that's how you knew it was like a Civil War tie-in.
Yeah. As I said, I just finished rereading Civil War today, and I have thoughts about that, which we'll save for a Civil War episode, because that book is almost like a series of montages without the context. You know what I mean? Like you almost need to read all of the tie-ins for that book to make sense. You know,
Mark Millar is the Michael Bay of comics. I'm saying that.
The good and the bad.
Bold statement, but yeah, exactly. It's not, both good and both bad.
Yep. So the way they, Schmidt kind of described Annihilation at this point, this was like basically alternative programming. I believe what Schmidt said, but someone read somewhere, it's like this was alternative programming for like, everyone's watching Seinfeld. Well, we've got Everybody's Loves Raymond over here if you want to watch that instead. You know what I mean? Like it was kind of like that idea. And all of the characters that are in Annihilation were not involved with the mainstream Marvel at the time. You got Nova, Star-Lord, Thanos, Gamora, Drax, the Skrulls, the Kree, etc. And no one cares about them. So Marvel's like, yeah, whatever. Do whatever you want with them. We don't care about those guys. Literally, Joe Quesada doesn't care. It's like, oh, kill Thanos. Who cares about that? Which is crazy to say that.
It's crazy now. Yeah.
It's crazy to say. Like, literally, they're like, who cares? You can kill Thanos. We don't care. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Galactus, he can get abducted. We don't care.
Right. And funny enough, like, Nova narrowly missed involvement into Civil War because he was part of the New Warriors book.
Yeah,
that that he was in that for like the first half of it, and then he left. I mean, like, and then the the event that happened to start Civil War with the New Warriors happened. So it was like,
so it was the reality show.
Nearly missed it.
The reality show New Warriors, where they're like, we're gonna be filmed and we're gonna take down villains, and it's a comedy book. Yeah, was Nova in the original miniseries for that too? And then
he was. That's what I'm saying. The first half of the miniseries. Yeah. And that's what I mean. He narrowly missed it. Like he left like maybe a couple issues before they were kind of done, and they did that. The big incident.
Yeah. Stamford, Connecticut. Yeah, it's funny because like that's the only real character that would have seen any crossover at all, and it like I said, they didn't. Marvel didn't care. Like again, Joe Quesada didn't care about that. So we've kind of talked about the big kind of setup and the structure of all of this, and kind of giving you guys the backstory. let's talk about one other little piece, which is the main villain of this. Obviously, the main hero is Nova, and obviously there's other characters that go into it. Like I said, Ronan, and we'll talk about him in a bit. But I think the one character we do need to talk about is Annihilus. Josh, you want to tackle that real quick?
Yeah. So Annihilus is classically a Fantastic Four villain who's created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. And if you look at his design, you'd be like, oh yeah, that's definitely a Jack Kirby villain. He's like this big purple and green bug looking thing, but his face is 100% Jack Kirby still, which is great.
Yes.
He's the leader of the Negative Zone. He's which is Negative Zone is like the antimatter universe. So we have the positive universe, and it's like the antimatter, and he's kind of like the Negative Zone Hitler, basically.
Yeah,
in a crazy way.
So,
and then he is super powerful because of his cosmic control rod. Now, if you really want Brian and I to break that down, that's on another episode that will never happen because I have no idea what that is really. But
it sounds cool. This day. It's 60s speak. Like, hey,
exactly. It's like, how is he so much powerful? Cosmic control. Like they took the dart thing, like that. Like the what was it? The 30 Rock episode where they're trying to do the microwave.
Oh yeah, that's right. H-I no B-A-G.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go any further than that.
No. It's a great episode. Watch the show. And he's made like so many different attempts to try and take over the positive universe. And again, he's clashed with the Fantastic Four. And it's also funny too, because he's the big ruler of the Negative Zone. And there's a big part of Civil War was that prison that was set in the Negative Zone. And the only reason they were able to do that is because Annihilus was in the positive universe trying to take it over. Like his whole thing was
the Negative Zone, right? Because I thought it was on the side of the moon or something like that. You're right. I think it was.
It was the Negative Zone. Yeah,
that's right. I just read the damn thing and I forgot already.
But like with Annihilus though, like his whole thing is like, or his supposed reason to break into the positive zone is because the whole it was proven or something where the universe is constantly expanding still, and that's encroaching on his territory. So like everything that we expand to is in negative to the Negative Zone. So he comes to the positive zone because he thinks it's like the positive universe is declaring war on his territory. That
he's not wrong.
Well, I mean, it's also like what can you do type of thing. It's like
we have no control over that.
Yeah, so exactly, and we wouldn't have any control after, even if he was successful in his initial plan. But he's a fun, crazy character.
It's funny, like one of the things you and I have talked about in the past, and this is the first ultimate FF book. And one of my favorite panels of all time is when like Reed has figured out how to get into the Negative Zone. He's so excited to like meet alien life, for lack of a better word. And he's like, man, this is gonna be awesome. This is gonna be so cool. Right. And it ends on a panel of them like of just Annihilus at the window peering through at them, and it is hauntingly scary.
It's very scary. Was it Stuart Immonen? It was drawing
that, or was that one of the keywords? I forget. Yeah, I think it was Warren Ellis's writing, but it's I think it's like FF15 or something like that, or Ultimate FF15, somewhere around there. But yeah, I just remember like Reed is just so excited for it, and you just see like Annihilus like peering like a creeper through the window, through like the porthole of the door, just like staring back at through that, and you're just like, oh, that guy's not friendly. That guy's not. Yeah. This is not going to go well for you, Reed, aka the Maker.
Yeah, he turns out to be the Maker. Yeah, but I love the line that Reed has to Annihilus is like, why couldn't you just been like a cool alien? Like, why did you have to be this way?
Yeah.
Why can't you just be cool, bro? Like, what the hell?
And the Maker was born.
Yeah. From that moment, the Maker is born, and Again, for anybody that doesn't know, the Maker is a big bad guy right now. Like,
yeah, in the
super
16,
bad.
the 61, the 161 or whatever, the 6160 or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
6160.
Do you think
Which is
he's going
coming
to
to
make
an end apparently.
I know already. Do you think he's going to make an appearance though in Doomsday or Secret Wars? Like the character?
Nihilus?
No,
I don't know
either
why.
Annihilus or the Maker. I mean,
Maker? I mean, there's a lot of speculation in terms of because like Robert Downey Jr.
like,
coming to play Doctor Doom. Is he Iron Man Doctor Doom or is he,
right?
who knows? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they did say like you should definitely read the Ultimates book that's currently going on because it's going to tie probably into a lot of what we see, or at least have like parallels. So we'll see. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about Annihilation.
I know, but we go off topic all the time.
I
so
know
I'm just
we
keeping
digress.
that.
We digress.
But
well, let's set up Annihilation. Josh, you want to start that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the big setup, and this is why like we didn't really go over each character because there's a lot of the tie-in. So each tie-in kind of covers that character within their miniseries. So that's why we didn't get too much into it. We wanted to discuss Annihilus, but then
it's be redundant information basically. Yeah.
I think another big difference between Civil War and Annihilation at the time was the tie-ins for Civil War didn't really do anything for Civil War. Maybe there's like one or two that were really good, but then I think the tie-ins for Annihilation were done correctly and really helped the story.
It's funny you should say that because, like I said, I did literally just reread Civil War, and like I think Civil War struggles because you do need all this extra contextual information from the tie-ins. Like the Spider-Man arc in Civil War is completely bonkers unless you read Amazing Spider-Man at the time. Reed is completely off his rocker in Civil War until you read like Fantastic Four, which was I believe JMS at the time. I think that the problem with tie-ins is either they're integral information that should just be in the series itself, in the miniseries, or they're just like cash grabs. And it's like it's that fine line, like how do you do it? Like, and I think Annihilation did it well. But I think that you go ahead. Sorry.
And what I mean by that, the Civil War, like the tie-ins, not really like you said, the Reed one, the Spider-Man one, sure, integral. But then you have tie-ins like for Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Okay. Or what did Wolverine. He have to do with it? Or Wolverine? What did he have to do with Civil War?
He literally isn't. Well, the X-Men, they just did a miniseries for it. The only there was like X Factor and Wolverine, I think were the tie-in issues to Civil War. They do not. X Factor does not make an appearance during Civil War. Wolverine makes one appearance like in the first issue, and that's it. It's like why did there's 4 issues dedicated to him in this? It's like they're cash grabs.
That tie-in gets made fun of so much. The Wolverine ones because the art was so bad. Really? Because he's I don't know if you read, but he's tracking down Nitro, the guy who
they killed the Stanford guy, yeah.
And Nitro basically blows him up to just a skeleton.
Oh, good.
Literally just a skeleton.
Yeah,
and then he gets back. So it's just the art is just really not great on it.
Okay.
And just it was outlandish. Like I think you get like the whole small head, big body Wolverine and stuff in it.
See, it's funny, like to me, like that makes sense for as a tie-in. Like, okay, hey, what happened to Nitro? Okay, like here's this character, and this is where you're gonna. It's not integral to the story, but it's interesting to find out what happens. But like, I don't know, like everything felt
it was too much. It was oversaturated.
It was. I mean, every single book that without, and if they didn't have it, there was a tie-in created for it just specifically to say, hey, here's what the X-Men were up to, even though they literally say, hey, we're not going to be involved with Civil War, but here's a book dedicated
in like
to
the first issue.
Yeah, exactly. That all said, like I do think Annihilation did it right, where it was like, hey, if you want it, here's this thing that happened. It sets up this character going into this event, but if you don't read it, no biggie. Like it's not going to affect your enjoyment of the series. So let's start off with like this is like the first one is Thanos. It was issues 7 through 12, written by Keith Giffen, drawn by Ron Lim. It's not a part of the Annihilation story, although it does get collected every once in a while, like in the Road to Annihilation like collections and stuff like that, or stuff to that effect. But it's important to at least note that this is the first kind of like Keith Giffen coming into the Marvel universe and starting to put his hands on the cosmic, especially with Andy Schmidt at the kind of directing him. the big things is Giffen does set up a few pieces that are going to play out over Annihilation, basically Thanos and how he gets his groove back. It's important that we get introduced to the prison / energy world of the Kiln, and it also introduces the 616 version of Star Lord, as well as reintroduces this little sprite called, like, I think it's like Screet, that sits on
Yeah.
Thanos' shoulder, like with Jiminy Cricket style, all through Annihilation. I personally would say, purists would say you have to read it. You need to know that backstory for Thanos. I don't think so. There's a
I don't
reason,
think you
like
need to.
it's a reason it's not collected in most of the Annihilation trades. You know what I mean?
It's really
That's
you
just
don't
me.
need to know. Like you don't really need to know who Screet or Scret or whatever that chaos sprite is. I mean, you get more of an explanation of what she is later anyway.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Star Lord thing is just is better as an Easter egg in Annihilation than not. It can, but the Kiln, it's like it's stuff they establish stuff that you already kind of take into account.
Well, it's that classic thing of like when you're reading a comic, you just assume, oh, there's some backstory to this. I don't really, unless if it was, it's like you're going to get it in context clues, or they're just going to do a little quick blurb. The Kiln planet of prison, or whatever, whatever.
Yeah, or you just read the first page where they do the recaps.
Yeah. So I don't think you need it, but just for the sake of the sake of like being open, like, hey, this is technically kind of part of it. It's good for like I said,
like
purists
Thanos
would say, yeah, it's fine. What about Drax the Destroyer, Josh?
So like we kind of discussed it before, but this is when Drax is he's in a prison. He gets broken out, and him and a couple other aliens like the Blood Brothers, which I mean that's very like that's very
90s
inside baseball like character. They show up in that. Did you ever play the Guardians of the Galaxy game? On
no, I know Sean. I know, yeah,
it's very good.
PlayStation. Oh,
I played on
for
PlayStation.
Xbox. I played on Xbox. Yeah, I heard it was fine. I never got into those Marvel games too much. Like the Avengers one really left me with a sour taste in my mouth.
Yeah, this one is way different. It's very good. Definitely check it out. But they show up in that game a lot, so just give more context of just where they can show up. But they basically get they just crash land into this small town of in Alaska, and it's basically they're just trying to or there's Pybok, who's like Super Skrull, the Kmart version, and like these aliens that we talked about, and they're trying to get back off Earth before Avengers anybody knows that they're there.
Yeah,
and they kind of take over this town and kind of make slaves and killing off like all these people, and which is it's such a like dark storyline, but that's where we get introduced to Cammy, who you'll see throughout Annihilation as well.
Yeah,
and that's the big thing is the transformation of Drax, where he becomes more of like Drax the Destroyer. He becomes like this big lug, but he becomes more of like a like we said, slim down. He has those red tattoos that you see now.
He's smarter too.
He's smarter
now. Yeah,
he's smarter. He's more nimble. He's not as strong as he was, but still pretty strong. Yeah. He doesn't have energy
powers, just
blasts anymore either.
He wears
but
pants.
he wears pants now, and then he's more like he comes. His affinity for the blades. Yes. So it's just basically how they get back introduced to the Kiln. So,
would you say that this is a required reading?
I honestly don't think so. It was a fun read, and I think it's definitely worth reading. But it doesn't like Pybok doesn't show up until way later in the story. Drax is just it's again like we said, you kind of just accept those changes.
It's funny.
Can be like, oh, she's there now.
If you're a pre-Guardians fan, I think this is absolutely integral reading. Like for me, like I was like, when I saw the new Drax, I'm like, what happened to Drax? Like literally, I'm like, what happened to Drax? Like I'm used to like the purple suited, hulking monster. And so like when like the new Drax came out, I'm like, that's not Drax. I think if you're from like the 90s comics era, like you need to read this miniseries, because if not, it literally, even like when I was reading, I'm like, what happened to, I'm like, why does Drax look like this? Why is he talking full sentences? And like, I actually, the first time I read it was when I was doing the research, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. So for me, I think it's absolutely, especially for old school fans of like Infinity Watch and Adam Warlock, you have to read it. But I see where you're coming from. If you grew up on like Guardians of the Galaxy, like the modern version of it, you don't need this at all.
But also, no, I'm a fan of the '90s cosmic stuff, like Infinity Gauntlet, and I knew the Drax character before. I just accepted the change. I think, as kind of like a comic reader, I wasn't like, it was more like, oh, okay, he's this now. All right, cool, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
just
telling you, like, I want reasons, man. You can't just spring this change on me without something. It'd be like, also, when Superman has electric powers. Like, why does Superman have electric powers? You got to tell me why. Oh, there's a reason why he has electric powers now.
Yeah, I think that the tier of Drax the Destroyer and Superman were a little bit different at the time. But like, it's like he was that type of character too. Like at the time, where you're just like, okay, he's this now. Like, I know Drax. Yeah. I know what he is. It's like, oh, he looks different, and oh, he has the different powers. I assume something happened.
We're going to disagree. Ironically enough, though, usually this Drax the Destroyer miniseries is collected in most Annihilation trades.
It's in the Marvel Unlimited, like in the digital Marvel Unlimited.
Same with the Epic collections and all that. So, I mean, it does kind of show that it kind of is important. But anyway, that, and eventually, that all leads into, they actually had to change the last like 2 pages of the book in issue 4, because they're like, oh, Annihilation's a go. And like, okay, we have to tee up Annihilation now. Like, it wasn't even, they're like, they weren't even sure if they were going to be doing it. It was just going to be like a miniseries by itself. Well, and that leads into the Annihilation prologue, which again is written by Keith Giffen, drawn by Scott Collins, and it's a single issue event that kicks it all, or a single issue that kicks off the event. And it ties in a few threads from the Thanos story we talked about. And basically the big thing in this is the Annihilation wave is coming through and it's wiping things out. It wipes out Xandar and the entire Nova Corps, and it leaves Nova as its solo member, Richard Rider Nova. And it also sets a few other characters we'll see in the mini, like I said, Super Skrull, Ronin, and Silver Surfer. We also get at the end of the book the revelation that it's Annihilus that is behind the the Annihilation wave, which apparently fans didn't pick up on. They're like, oh, the Annihilation, this miniseries coming. They didn't realize, like, no, that's Annihilus.
Because he's so out there. Exactly. Because he's so out there. He wasn't like seen as that type. He was before that. He was kind of solely seen as a Fantastic Four villain.
Yeah, exactly.
Like even Blastar at the time has had more crossover with people than Annihilus, which is crazy now to think. Blastar, yeah, which is just a guy who blows up stuff. He was like he was the one who was like constantly at war with Annihilus in the negative zone, but like not like he was a good guy and Annihilus is a bad guy. Like they're both bad guys. It was just like fighting for dominance. But I mean, this was the issue that got me hooked. And then they start with the whole the kiln being in the crunch. Which is it becomes more important later on too. But like the crunch is where in this world, like this is essentially like where the Big Bang happened. Like this is where the start of the universe was, and that's where Annihilus had broken through. And that's why like the kiln was there, and that's like Xandar is close to it, and that was just kind of crazy to see
the Nova Corps wrecked.
The Nova Corps just get demolished and so quickly, and so like.
For those who don't know, the Nova Corps essentially is like the Marvel version of like the Green Lantern, not the Green Lanterns, but it's kind of like their intergalactic space cops.
The police force of the.
Yeah, they don't have like the rings, but they do fly around it super. They look like cannonball,
Yeah. I mean, and they have the helmets that are hard, but then you take them off and it's like
they're paper,
or something like that. Yeah, and they have the different types of novas like Centurion and all that stuff.
There's like three different tiers. I know the answer to this one. I'm gonna ask anyway. Would this be considered essential reading for Annihilation?
I would think so, since it's the prologue. It's kind of like If you start Annihilation without reading this, you're kind of like, what
to be fair, I did start reading Annihilation without the prologue.
That's crazy, especially on Annihilation. The first issue starts.
Well, that's the thing, and we'll get to it. But I was going to say, it's just a product of good writing, where like, hey, we got to assume that no one has read the issue before. And it is that thing of like, assume no one has read anything. Okay, here's your starting point, and let's recap everything that happened real quick. And like it does, I'm like, oh crap, like what happened to Nova? Oh my god, I mean, we'll get to it, but it is funny. Like I did not read the prologue; I just read Annihilation. Like, what is going on here? Oh man, that's some bad stuff going on. Let's talk about some of the miniseries real quick. Speaking of Nova, the Annihilation Nova miniseries, written by your boys, Andy Lanning and
DNA.
Dan Abnett. Yeah, DNA. And art by Kev Walker. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, so I mean, this is right after the whole event of Annihilation prologue, excuse me, and then Nova finds out that the entire Nova Corps has been eliminated, and because of that, everybody kind of shared. Everybody in the Nova Corps shared this power called the Nova Force, and and so since he is the sole survivor, all that power goes into him. And
it's not divided out or proportionally.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Like, you're it.
It's kind of like again more the Green Lantern parallel. It's like the whole entire power battery was into him.
It wasn't Kyle Rayner at the time,
Yeah.
No bad characters, just bad writing.
Yeah. But with Nova 2, with that, he doesn't go crazy. He has to actually download the world mind as well into his head, which is the entire entire history and entire database that the Nova Corps had made into this like AI supercomputer.
Yeah, like a semi-sentient AI, basically, right?
Yeah, and so that's all in his head too. So you kind of have like the back and forth with him and World Mind, which is awesome. And then in that miniseries, though, he meets up with Drax, who is now traveling with a girl named Cammy, who was in the miniseries, and it was it's kind of like his ragtag. Like she's like a more sarcastic Jimmy Olsen in a way.
That works.
Yeah, and then Drax starts to mentor Nova in his own way, basically like it was like, Nova, if you don't control your power, I'll kill you. Yeah. Okay. And they try to stop a little bit of Annihilus' forces because he's still trying to figure out his powers at that time. They also meet up with Quasar, which that becomes a huge deal because Quasar goes and they try to fight Annihilus himself, and Quasar is killed by Annihilus. The Annihilus takes his Negabands and gets like a super power boost from that alone, and that's kind of helps him become more successful in the Annihilation wave in the book, and becomes like like it's basically the Super Saiyan Annihilus. Like again, this is the book that explains why Nova becomes like a world
weary warrior,
or just weary warrior, but also just like a what was he? He's like a world class like
A-list
hero, like almost. Basically his power level shoots up like way big, where he's up with the big boys.
Well, and also you just said like with Drax mentoring him, he has to like grow up a bit, like because he was like hanging out with the New Warriors and their zany adventures, and like you said, he was working as a fryline cook or like a counter jockey for a while before that, literally working the counter and like, oh, take fries with that, and so like here he's like, oh, he has to grow up dramatically,
I think with Drax, but also seeing an entire civilization.
Oh, absolutely. And just saying, like dealing with the ramifications of Xandar going down. I would say
of all survivor's guilt too.
Yeah, exactly. I would say of like all the minis, like this is probably the most integral to all of the for me personally, I think like this is it adds most context going into Annihilation to like who Richard Ryder was, and who he needs to be for Annihilation. But that's just me. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think this one is super integral into the Annihilation book for sure. It is a
Mhm.
must read. I think this is tied with Silver Surfer and how much ties into
Interesting.
the actual
Oh, okay.
Annihilation event because of
Okay.
it explains like the one side of all this superpower
Mhm.
stuff going on, and it kind of explains how he can become the leader of this united front.
Yeah. Well, that leads us into what I think is one of those least essential books, which is Annihilation Super Scroll. Again, I like the Super Scroll a lot. It was written by Javier Grillo. I cannot pronounce their last name, so I'm not going to butcher it. Mark Soch. I just butchered that, but it's
I'm not
art
even
by
going to
Greg.
try
Yeah, but
from
all I
my
know is
track record of even trying to do
I
stuff. Yeah, I know it's going
I
to be
know
rough.
that they were a writer on Lost, like in the first 3 seasons of Lost, like that was their kind of like big thing. But basically, this book is about how Super Scroll, art by Greg Titus too. This book is basically how Super Scroll is a loser. He has the powers of the FF, and yet he routinely gets his ass handed to him. And it's about his sort of like redemption arc to like prove that he isn't just a loser. Of course, he dies at the end, so maybe he
Yeah,
is, but you know,
dies a hero,
he does a hero. Yeah, I mean, is
kind
this
of.
essential? No. I thought it was a fun read. I really did. I liked the kind of take on it because, like, he is a loser. Like, come on, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's a
how do you
scroll
have
empire.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you have that power set and like just completely just get your butt kicked? That all said, like, I think it's the least integral to all the miniseries. It was fun to catch up with him, but what about you?
No, I agree. It didn't really move the story forward that much, or
Yeah,
you're okay with skipping it. Basically, the only
yeah,
thing that
because
introduces is the one character that brings his bot or just explains why he's in a glass coffin.
yeah, in Annihilation, because he comes back in
Yeah,
Annihilation, and surprise, surprise, he's not
yeah.
really dead, you know. But it's like it comes in like halfway through the miniseries. I think it's like issue 3 or 4 that he's brought back to life, and you're just like, oh, okay, Super Scroll's here. Like, I don't know if that was necessarily needed. You know what I mean?
I thought it was a fun Super Scroll story, but it could have been any other story, and didn't really. It could have been
Yeah.
not an Annihilation book, and you wouldn't fine. You did learn some stuff like how he has a son on and stuff, which is
Hmm.
kind of lore about the Super Scroll, but it wasn't like Annihilation lore. So yeah, it's least integral, but it's a fun book.
Hmm. Let's talk about Silver. Let's talk about something we care about. The Silver Surfer. Go for it.
Yeah, let's talk about one that is integral to it. So this is basically just it's a Silver Surfer book, but it really ties together all the heralds of Galactus. As really Silver Surfer is finding out about the Annihilation Wave from Airwalker, who gets like blown up, and that
Mhm.
kind of brings all the other heralds around. But he finds out the reason of the Annihilation Wave, and what Annihilus is really kind of going for is the power cosmic, and this also has Thanos with the Fallen One, which was or Galactus's first herald. He's super powerful and stuff. So he's working with Thanos, and then uh, basically Silver Surfer is finding out how powerful the Annihilation Wave is and how unstoppable it is. So he goes back to Galactus. He says, "My bad. Can you make me a herald again?" And he becomes a herald, but he keeps his memories, or just his like his morality, really, which was a big thing. And then it introduced the Promeal gods, which they're calling them, which is Tenebris and Aegeus, which they become big factors into the Annihilation story. And the Fallen One dies in this, which is kind of a big deal too.
Mhm.
Now, what did
Yeah.
you think of this? Because
Yeah.
you didn't think it doesn't really like tie in that much, but or just the context.
It does, but I think like in terms of the Annihilation story, I don't think it really adds like a whole lot. It's like you basically get out of it Silver Surfer is now a herald of Galactus again, and Galactus is going to come marching through. That for me, it was like it was fine. I just that was just me. I just didn't think it was like I think it was more integral than Super Scroll, but not as definitely not as much as Nova.
Mhm. Yeah, for me, I think it explained the why Thanos is in the story. I think it also explained, the Tenebrous and Aegis characters, why they become a big deal, and their motivation, and what Galactus, had done to them, um, and just it brings in more, the Herald and the cosmic part of it. So like the other side of it, like Nova's on one side,
Mm,
like it is in the book. There you have like Nova's
mm,
kind of side, and then
mm.
what's happening around Annihilus and the cosmic stuff. So I think it was that other side of the coin.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, that leads us into the final miniseries, which is the Ronin miniseries, Annihilation Ronin, which was written by Simon Furman, art by Jorge Lucas. Um, this is basically you find out why Ronin got fired from his job as the accuser and is now persona non grata with the Kree, and it's all thanks to a rival Kree family. It also reintroduces Gamora into the mix as the world's most dangerous woman, as well as like showcasing Nebula's new look. I really enjoyed this miniseries. Like, I don't know if it's integral or not, but of the miniseries, I think I had the most fun with this one because probably I had the least expectations with this one. As I said before, I didn't pick up any of this when the books were going on. I'm like, I don't care about a dude with a hammer that's got a big cloak on or whatever. It just wasn't my thing. But when I got the book and I read it for this, I was like, oh, this is really fun. I like the art as well. And so like I was like, this is enjoyable. Is it integral? I don't know, but did I enjoy it? Hell yeah.
No, I agree. I think it was really fun, but it wasn't too integral. It was kind of like the start, if you think of it, to me, like the Game of Thrones of the whole Kree Empire and Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has that very much that kind of vibe to it.
Mm-hmm.
Where the whole inside politics of the Kree Empire, and why
Mm-hmm.
Ronin has been excommunicated in a way, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
like he's on the hunt for the person, the one witness that was lying against him. So, and it
Yeah.
was kind of reminding me of like an old like B movie, a little
Yeah.
bit, where he's on this planet where he needs to help out, and there's a team of femme fatales that he has to
Mm-hmm.
like fight.
Team
So
up,
it
live
was
and
very
fight
much
and
like
all
a
that.
yeah. So it had like a one of those B movie fun movies,
Yeah.
like in the
I,
of the
I
80s.
I will say that when you reread Annihilation, like a lot of it is dedicated to the Kree and the sort of the Kree Empire
Mm-hmm.
and what's going on. So I would argue, in a weird way, it almost has the most setup to do with that. But I don't think you need to read it. But man, I would say you're foolish not to. If you're gonna read it, if you're gonna read Annihilation, you should honestly read them all, but I think, like I said, for me, Ronin was probably the most fun I had. Like I think Nova was most important, but I
Mm-hmm.
think Ronin was the most fun. If that makes sense at all.
It does, and I totally agree. It's a fun book.
Yeah. Well, let's talk real quick. We talked a lot about Keith Giffen, the writer, and because now we're getting into the actual miniseries itself, Annihilation. Let's talk really briefly about the artist, Andrea DeVito. What was your take on their art, Josh?
I thought it was fine. I mean, it wasn't like super crazy amazing, but it was very clean. It did the job in a sense. So
It
it
did the
wasn't
job. Yeah.
flashy, but it was good.
It's what it needed the book to be. Like, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they couldn't afford like a Steve McNiven or whatever, but it's like, I think
Because too busy at Civil War.
yeah, Civil War. No, but I mean, like, I think that, it's like, it's clean. You understand, like, what are the panelings going on? Like, from a storytelling presentation, like, I enjoy, like, it's like, okay, this led to this, led to this. I get exactly where they're going. I thought the art was very, not simple at all. It reminded me of Scott Collins, the guy who did the prologue. He also
Mm.
did, like, a big run on Flashback in the day with Jeff Johns. It's like
Yes.
people are exaggerated, but they're not like overly buff. Like, it's like, oh yeah, like everyone looks very tall, if that makes any sense, and very lean. And so like when someone is kind of jacked, like it's accentuated in the right way. I thought he did a really good job with Annihilus, and kind of all the bugs everywhere. I thought
Yeah.
that it did but I don't think you're going to be like riding home like, oh my God, this is the most amazing art. But you're also going to be like, no, that is a solid B. You got the job done. You did it well. There's nothing that I'm offended by, but I'm not going to be like, oh man, I got to get that splash page as my background. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. No, I totally agree. And he does have the good, or they do have the good sense of suffocation that the Annihilation Wave kind of gives you, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a war book. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
the best way to put it, like, this is kind of like Starship Troopers, but good.
Yeah. Well, no, hey man, Starship
I know,
the first one's funny.
that's true. That's true. No, Starship Troopers is amazing, but I mean,
Yeah, but that's a
it's
really good analogy.
yeah. And so you get that overwhelmingness,
Mm-hmm.
which, to coin a word, overwhelmingness.
We create words on the show.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what it's. Other people create art. I make up words. But but it wasn't like we're saying, like, it's not. There's not a particular, like, maybe there's one or two panels that I would be like, okay, this is amazing.
Yeah, if it's the panel I think you're talking about, like I can't wait to talk about that one.
Well, there's a couple, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like there's definitely one I think we both know, but there's also one I was just like, oh, that's really awesome. Yeah. Actually, there's three. There's three. Three that I have
highlight them as we get to them.
Yes, no, for sure.
Let's talk real quick about the cover artist, because we don't usually talk about covers, but I think it is in this case. It's important to talk about them. Gabrielle Dell'Otto. I'm going to read a quote from Andy Schmidt, the editor, and then we kind of take it from there. But this is a quote from Andy Schmidt. The first thing he did with the prologue cover, which I said, I need this to be a movie poster. I need this to be the Star Wars of the Marvel Universe. And once people started to see that, it clicked. So that's what this is. They're darker, they're painted, they're epic looking. And so when he did that, a lot of the hesitation went away. What do you take on that, Josh?
I think it was a completely astute quote from Mr. Schmidt, because those covers are each cover is like wallpaper worthy.
Yes.
And each from prologue and all the miniseries and all of Annihilation, they are just crazy good. I mean, you could have just like a big collage of them. And
as I said, I bought the Super Scroll issue 1 based on that cover alone. I was like, they say covers don't sell a book, but man, that cover is hot.
Or any of the Nova ones, any of the the Silver Surfer ones.
Yeah.
Ronin looked badass. I mean,
yeah.
It was just all good. Oh, that the cover though of excuse me, I think it's Annihilation 4 with Drax in front of Thanos is one of my favorites, just of anything.
Oh, where they're facing off to each other. They're facing off.
Yeah.
It's good. Yeah, and, again, like I normally don't. We don't normally talk about the cover arts too much, but in this case, I think it's worth noting that they were going for that movie poster look, and they pulled it off. So, with all that said, Josh, let's actually talk about
was it 1 hour 13 minutes into the podcast? Yeah,
somewhere around there.
But there was a lot of backstory to this one, a lot of build up to it. So I think
a lot of the miniseries are warranted, because it is like it's such an event. Let's talk about issue 1. The issue basically recaps a lot of the characters from the minis and kind of brings them all together as Annihilus's waves the Annihilus wave is like crushing through and wrecking everyone. Nova, along with the rest of our cosmic heroes, are on their back foot, and it's only getting worse. What kind of thoughts did you have on this issue?
No, I love this issue because it takes you right into the middle of like a battle of like you're in
it's
the
World
thick
War
of
II.
this war.
This is D-Day, baby.
I say this a lot. Like, this was more of a war book than Civil War was. Like,
Absolutely
this is the war book.
Yes,
and you're in the middle. Yeah, this is like Saving Private Ryan. This is Band of Brothers right away. You're in this like huge battle already, and it's like a great way kind of to reintroduce everybody. You Nova. You know exactly where Nova stands, or what his part in it is. You get Star-Lord, which at that time too was a completely different design than the original Star-Lord, and way different than the Star-Lord we know now. Excuse me, the Star-Lord we know now.
Yeah, it's got that weird prosthetic eye thing.
Yeah, because and they allude to it, his history, but he's very hush hush about it. Like, he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
which, I mean, he has the snarkiness, but he's a completely different character than what we know now.
Like, yeah, it's funny too, and he was different from the Star-Lord that were in comics previous to this, because they're not the same Star-Lord. Like, technically the first appearance of 616 Star-Lord is in that Thanos miniseries, even though Star-Lord as a character goes back into the 70s, like black and white, Marvel Comics back in the day.
Right, it wasn't that miniseries though too, where he like his costume looked like he was like a bird type of thing, but
I'm sure I don't
that blue goggle the goggles and all that. Yeah. So I mean, and this kind of started the friendship of Nova and Star-Lord, which
absolutely
spans throughout a bunch of different. And actually, I mean, spoilers for Imperium, it changes in that book.
Yeah. Oh, the most recent Hickman book, Imperial?
Imperial. Sorry, excuse me, not Imperium, Imperial. That's right. Yeah, which was a big shift. I have thoughts
about that book, but we'll save that for another time.
Yeah. But so, I mean, and you're just in the thick of it, which is great. And there's a lot of other stuff happening too, though, which is kind of crazy, like the Thanos thing, right?
He's second fiddle to Annihilation in this, which is crazy to think. Like, Thanos is like A-level villain at this point, thanks to the Marvel movies. But in this book, he's literally playing second banana to Annihilation, as he's like working for Annihilation as his like lackey to uncover the secrets of the power cosmic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, like, the Annihilation wants to, because Annihilation is mainly like a biological creature. He's trying to find the biological, the source of the power cosmic, and Thanos being Thanos is just like, sure, let's see what happens. Yes, sir, Mr. Annihilus, for now, like, because he's Thanos. But
and that also leads to like the Silver Surfer and Galactus getting wrecked, and both getting captured by Annihilus's forces, because like, hey, that's the source of power cosmic, or at least that is an inlet into the power cosmic. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that like Galactus and Silver Surfer, who is OP as it is, they get captured, it tells you how effed Nova and his boys are. Not his boys, but the crew are. Like, even like they're like, oh, we're done. We cannot win.
Yeah, they get wrecked by the Aegis and Tenebrous. I keep saying his name wrong, but Tenebrous. But and you kind of figure out too, like those people are part of like the whole young universe or something like that, and they were imprisoned in the kiln.
Yeah,
and so when Annihilus broke the kiln, they like freed them, and like they cracked the Silver Surfer. The Silver Surfer's all cracked. So and took out Annihilus, because they're like two like Annihilus level beings, which is nuts. So like you said, the fact that we're starting the first issue with Annihilus taking Galactus and Silver Surfer, where again, like, Galactus is known as a force of nature.
Yeah. Oh, and
nuts.
It's funny. Remind me more about Galactus's attitude when that happens, and I have a little comment on that. Well, essentially, there's a few other things, like Nova has to make the hard calls, like the good of the many versus the good of the few. But basically, it's like you just said, it's war, which leads us into like issue 2. Political infighting kind of threatens Nova's precarious alliance as Annihilus presses forward with his attack. What were some of the big events like as this issue kind of plays out?
Yeah, so the political infighting is more within the Kree, because Nova's forces are essentially Kree soldiers right now. Because at the time, like, so again, at the time, there's no Skrull Empire. There's like inlets of the Skrulls, but there's no like full empire. Yeah, the whole Nova Corps is gone. So like the only like the Badoon are not
No,
involved in.
they're like,
He
no,
even
we're not
says,
calling them. They're literally just like,
yeah,
I'm
exactly.
not calling the Badoon. We're not
Yeah,
dealing
he's
with
like,
them. Earth,
I will be taken over by a nihilist before I go to Badoon.
yeah, and then also Earth is like got its head up its ass because literally they're like, yeah, I don't know what the hell they're doing over there, but we can't rely on Earth to help us out in this situation either because
Yeah,
of the Civil
exactly.
War.
There's later on in the like in the other excuse me, later on in the other issues, Nova they get close to Earth, or like within um radio distance or something of Earth, and he's just like, yeah, we are a united front, and we're barely
Yeah,
surviving. How are they? Even though they're Earth is powerful, it's divided. It's the whole,
yeah,
the open palm against the fist right now.
yeah.
And but so like so the political infighting with the Kree is
Mm.
because the Kree are just they're there's
They're
some
the,
Kree
they're the,
heroes that are great,
they're
but
the they're the Klingons, man. They're the
yeah,
Klingons, and I don't mean like the honor, but they're all warriors and they're a warrior caste system. But they're all fighting with each other. Who should be in charge and who's in,
right.
what, all
Because the
that.
Supreme Intelligence,
It's gonna tear us
not
apart.
yeah, well, he's not dead, but he's just like
He's on life
there's a
support, basically.
yeah, basically, yeah, and because of the House Fierro,
Yeah, Figaro. Yeah, I know.
Fierro, but yeah,
I
so
know.
they're the ones that like to be able to keep within power. They're the ones that excommunicated Ronin. So,
Yeah,
but and because of that, like they even like Ronin even yells us. It's like this is a house of commerce and businessmen, not of warriors and generals. So we're
why are
kind
we
of
listening to
getting
them?
whooped because
Yeah,
they have no idea what they're doing. Like
yeah,
he's yelling out commands, and the top brass aren't uh following Ronin, but all the soldiers who know Ronin, they're like, oh yes sir, like they know
yeah,
he knows what he's talking about.
yeah.
So that's the whole like that's why like Nova's like I barely like I'm barely you people know like this is for survival right now, not
Mm.
for your Kree
Yeah,
empire.
not
Like
for
who's
honor or for
yeah,
commerce or for anything. Like we're trying to live, not get wiped out.
right. This is a universal extinguishing event right now that we're
Mhm.
trying to stop.
Yeah.
And
The other big, I was gonna say, on top of that, you also get Thanos, ripping ears off.
yeah,
Yeah, basically, you get the Thanos arc in this is that he captures Moondragon, who is Drax's daughter, and basically is like, "I'm gonna rip her ear off. Here you go." He gives it to Phyla-Vell, right? Like, yeah, he gives it to Phyla-Vell,
yeah,
right? And he's
yeah,
like,
because they're
"Tell
an item at the time.
Yeah, he's like, tell him to leave me alone, or else he's never gonna see his daughter again. Like, he needs to back the f up." Yeah, that's not going to go well. Like, just going to
Right.
put that out there right now. Drax hitting his daughter's ear isn't going to go. You know what?
Yeah,
Maybe
it's
this
not going to
guy's got a
stop him.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm gonna I'm gonna give him some space. But he also he's like torturing
yeah.
Moondragon too. Like he rips like the skin off her arm or something like
Arm,
that
yeah, he
because
infects her with all the Annihilus bugs and all
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty well because he needs her to find out, like, because she has psychic powers. Like, what's Annihilus's game plan for this?
right.
But that'll come up later. He continues his experiments on Galactus to uncover the secrets of the power cosmic, and we also get the return of the Super Scroll's body. Which, why would the body return unless something's going to happen?
Yeah,
And at this point, Annihilus is like, I'm tired of these people, Nova and his little crew, stopping my wave every once in a while. He sends his like elite guard. He's like, take them out. I want them destroyed, or I'm going to lose my mind. You know what I mean? And that's kind of
yeah.
how the issue ends.
I want them destroyed, or else I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
and because that Annihilus is like I
He's
want
like
everything. If you don't do anything, I'm gonna destroy you.
he's like Cobra Commander on crack.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was like, jeez.
Even talks to himself in third person.
Yeah, exactly.
But like the big part about this, and this is kind of like the big turning point of the battle, is not only do like Annihilus send his elite forces there, they with working with Thanos, he teleports them
Yeah,
directly into their base, like in the middle of
yeah,
their
yeah,
base,
yeah. It's not a
which
wave. It's like Surprise!
Right. Which in this at this moment, like that type of teleportation is not
Game
available
changer.
to everybody, like especially not
Yeah.
to the Nova's forces. And it's like
Yeah.
like when Nova sees that and that happens, he's like, we're done. We lost. This
Yeah,
is the end of the war.
yeah, he drops a load in his pants.
Yeah, which I would too. But
Yep.
like because again, like because of Thanos, they have pinpoint teleportation anywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like with the whole the space or excuse me, the space stone
Yep.
in the Marvel comics,
Um,
movies. Excuse me.
Yeah, no, I got it. But that leads us into issue 3 as the battle rages. It's not going well for Nova and his crew. Of course, Annihilus is still pissed off that it's not happening fast enough, and if they don't hurry up, he's
Right.
just going to destroy the planet with his forces on it.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, I'll
Yes.
just have new ones.
Yeah. During that fighting, and it's basically just a big epic fight. During that fight, Super Skrull is brought back to life because of was the heralds like Fire Lord and who's the other guy? Like they use the power cosmic and he kind of like recharges his energy cells or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was something like that, or like it was because of so I forgot to mention, like in the Silver Surfer miniseries, they introduced Ravenous in like
That's right. Yeah.
the center or something, like basically like they're the negative zone version of the heralds. Like they use the negative zone
Yeah.
version of power cosmic, and I think he was like fighting Ronin or the Fire Lord or something, and then I just read this too.
Fire Lord. Yeah.
But yeah, and that energy wave kind of like it's kind of like the defibrillator for
Yeah.
Super Skrull.
Yeah. So Skrull's back. Super Skrull or Klurt, I believe is it Klurt?
I don't even know. It's
Yeah.
Klurt, Keller.
Yeah.
Yeah. SS.
Yeah. He's back to life, but meanwhile, like Nova and his crew, like, we have to retreat. Like the planet's about to get destroyed. We have to retreat. And meanwhile, this is going on. Drax goes suicide run to help. Basically, he says it's because he wants to fight with honor, but even he's doing it for Cammy, that girl that kind of keeps getting mentioned.
Yeah.
And it looks like ultimately he's going to get killed in the process, but he just literally him jumping into the maw of thousands of these bugs with just a pair of knives, and it looks like, well, that was that. It was a nice run there, Drax.
Yeah, and he definitely lives up to the name of Destroyer on this one, though. It's like he has that one mission, which is to kill Thanos, and that's like his path to that.
Yeah, he is a singular obligation there. And while they do manage to get away, like, Nova and his team, it definitely looks like the war is lost at this point. The alliance is fractured. Gamora is going to go basically do suicide run or like insurrections and like, guerrilla tactics. Warfare. Exactly. Ronin's going to go off on his own personal mission of revenge on the Kree homeworld. It's like, well, we're done. It was a nice run, guys.
Yeah. What's interesting about that though, he brings the Super Skrull with him. So like Ronin is there to basically save his Empire Scrolls. Like, I get to go and
go kill a bunch of Kree.
You signed me up twice.
Yeah, it's like, don't push your luck, pal. But it's like being teamed up with your mortal enemy because the enemy of my enemy is my friend, kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
they make a great team.
It was fun. It was a good buddy cop in that regard. I love that, like, when they brought Super Skrull's body out, Ronin literally just spits on it immediately. Yeah. Just spits on it. It's like,
I also love that this like Super Skrull is just like, I'll be with you. I'll go with you and I'll help out. And Ronin's like, no. He's like, yes, we'll do it. And
Don't
then,
worry.
Yeah, and then Ronin is like off panel, and the robot, like it's like Parexa or something, like she's with Super Skrull, and she's like, wait, we're not gonna go. He said he's not gonna let us go, and Super Skrull's just like, wait for it.
Yeah, give it a minute.
And he's like, wait for it. And he's like, are you guys coming? He's like, yep. All right, here we go. So
it's great. Well, that leads us into issue 4, and surprise, surprise, Drax the Destroyer did not get destroyed by, his little thing. He is cutting his way through Annihilus' ship, and guess what? Thanos is in his grasp almost.
Yeah, it was great about that one too. Is Thanos and Drax have like a like a cosmic awareness of each other.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Thanos, like it was like it reminded me of Ron Swanson in Parks and Rec, where a Tammy would show up. He's like, she's here.
She's here.
Yeah, so like that's what like Thanos was like.
That's great.
He's getting close.
Yeah.
And so yeah, Drax also feels it like this is my path to this. I was made for one reason, and this is what I'm doing. I don't care what happens. This is what I'm gonna. This is what's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, so knowing that fighting with armies, he's never going to win, Nova and his leftovers decide they're just going to go try and headshot Annihilus. Like, hey, well, we can't win. Maybe we can take out the head and just do it. As you mentioned, Thanos, who's been draining the power of Galactus, actually finds out what Annihilus's intentions really are. He uses Moondragon to like basically get into Annihilus's head, and he finds out, oh, surprise, surprise, he's going to use it as a cosmic bomb and destroy the positive universe. Just wipe
both
it off
universes. Yeah, he's like both universes.
Yeah, he's like, he's a madman. Yes, Thanos.
Right.
You have teamed up with a madman.
Yeah, exactly. Like you were, you're surprised a man as something named Annihilus wants to annihilate everything.
Everything.
But the thing with Nova too, like with the going for the headshot to take out Annihilus, throughout their battles and stuff, they figure out that the Annihilation wave is more like a hive mind. Yes. So Annihilus is like queens are all kind of like the generals, but like the hive mind of each of the waves. So they're just like, why not take out the big hive mind, basically the one shot.
Yep. So Thanos at this point is realizing like maybe I shouldn't have teamed up with this guy. Yeah. And Moondragon basically convinces like, hey, you can like decouple Galactus safely and get decouple the two of them, and like he won't have his cosmic bomb. And as he's doing that, he's like, yeah, you're right. Maybe I'll just free Galactus. What should happen? Drax shows up, and Josh, you want to take it?
Yeah. This is one of the three panels that I point out. Like he goes through his back and rips out his heart, and the Thanos just goes, interesting. Which cool. It's awesome, and that's such a cool panel. I loved it, and the big thing about this too was the only way for Galactus and the Silver Surfer to be freed is by Thanos, because it's to his specific energy signature. Yeah. So that was just like, what are you doing?
You just doomed everybody.
Yeah. Like, and he's just like, I do what I do. I'm Drax the Destroyer. I was bred for one purpose. Yeah. But it was a great panel to end on.
Yeah. Because you're just like, it's like, can it get any worse for these guys? Just when you think like, oh, they've got a chance to pull us out of the fire. No, Drax, you had to Drax. And because you had to Drax, now we're all doomed.
Drax got a Drax.
Drax out of Drax. So we hit into issue 5, and Nova and his crew is beginning their kind of dirty dozen assaults on Annihilus. It's all or nothing. Drax does find a way to free Silver Surfer, who in turn is able to free Galactus through shenanigans. Basically, it's like for all the only Thanos can do it. I'm like, well, you guys managed to get him out of there anyway.
That's very true. Like the Silver Surfer just can't. Like, well, first Drax just is like, I'm just gonna break through this egg. Yeah. That Silver Surfer is, and then like Silver Surfer just kind of goes like power cosmic or something, and kind of wakes up Galactus. And this was like the other panel, like when Galactus kind of is freed and he's pissed. That was the other moment. Pissed. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Well, it's so funny because and this is the point I'd mentioned earlier. I wanted to bring back up. So when I walked out of FF, the movie, I loved like there was some, for lack of a better word, a gentleman with his parents, I'm going to assume, and he's wearing a very large Pokemon Bulbasaur sweatshirt that had like almost anthropomorphic, and he's going off how bad that the filmmakers got Galactus. Like, Galactus never shows emotions. He's a force of nature. He doesn't care about peons. He would never talk. I'm like, buddy, did you read Annihilation? Because
have you read? Yeah.
He's pretty pissed. I'm like, okay. It was just one of those like, very confident, for lack of a better word, nerds that also just like, like you haven't read every single comic. You don't know that, dude. Like
Right. Or
you got
have you
there
read
wrong.
like any other Silver Surfer book? Because Galactus is like that in other books, but like in Silver Surfer books and stuff, he's very like
Yeah.
he does show emotion or
Yeah,
anger or
he's
things like that.
he is a force of nature, but he can also get pissed. I mean, like
He's
it's
still a
like
being. He's still
yeah,
like a conscious being.
yeah, it's like the Punisher. Punisher is a force of nature, like on a street level and on a micro
Yeah.
level, but he still does show emotion. You know what I mean? Like he does. Anyway, I digress.
Well,
Yeah,
so going back to like the guerrilla tactics like Nova's doing, they're having to do that because like they have a somewhat like half teleportation technology where they have to do
yep.
like multiple jumps
Jump after
just to
jump
kind of
after
get to
jump.
where they're going. So that
Yeah,
kind of shows just how advanced like the annihilation wave was with just being able to teleport.
one shot jumps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the other thing we get in this one is Ronan, like I said, teaming up with Super Scroll, and they basically wipe out the house responsible for his ouster.
Mm.
And you find out that this house of Fiero or Figaro or whatever the hell it was, they had a backdoor deal, a little backdoor sweet deal with Annihilus. Like, hey, we'll help you out as long as you keep us alive, And
Right.
yeah, that didn't go too well with Ronan and the rest of the Kree. The way I kind of attribute it's like the Klingon versus the Ferengi almost in a weird way. There was like, most of the Kree are like Klingons, like very like warrior based, but this house is more like Ferengi, like they're conniving and all that kind of. But that's just my Star Trek analogy for this episode.
There we got it, and now
Got it in
everybody
there.
can finish their
Yep.
bingo card. Um, with with that though, this is where Ronan puts down the Supreme Intelligence too.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is
Yep.
like as an act of mercy, basically.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you used to be so beautiful. Pop.
Yeah, and for someone like Ronan to do that is huge for the character because of how he's very much dedicated for the Kree, and the Supreme Intelligence is the leader of the Kree and
but
like
this was comatose. I mean, he had to,
for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. But it's still like it's like it's putting down it's putting down your beloved dog. So it's just kind of like he had to do what he had to do for his people to survive.
Yeah. So this finally leads us into the final issue 6, and as we mentioned, Galactus is pissed and goes nuclear. Yeah, he goes nuclear, or I guess you could say he goes cosmic on all the Annihilation wave. I mean, he wrecks everything.
Yeah,
of course. Go ahead.
He's a Galactus bomb at that point, like a more targeted bomb. And same thing with Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer is also pissed and helping out, which in his own right is very powerful.
Yes, I love that he's like a quarter of a percentage of Galactus's real power, and like, oh yeah, he's probably
he's one of the most powerful,
beings on this. Of course, this leaves an opening for all the remaining armies to like, hey, like launch their counterattack. Annihilus is kind of wrecked, but he's still alive. And he's like, all right, well, I got beaten right now, but I can reform my army and I can start all over again. And Nova and company are like, nah, brah, we're here to stop you.
Yeah, and Nova press. It's now mano y mano. It's Annihilus against and Nova. And I think at this point too, like Annihilus loses his the Nega bands, and those go to Phyla, and kind of brings him back to the family, right? Because the Marvel used to have the Nega bands, right? And this is the third panel.
This might be the most metal panel of all the panels, by the way.
Yeah, so Nova is almost lost basically, and then he reaches into to Annihilus's and just rips him out inside out. Like he rips his throat out inside. Yeah,
I'm assuming it's his tongue or his throat or his esophagus, and just pulls it right out of his mouth.
In this huge splash page panel, like it's amazing.
It's great. It's really cool. Like I said, it's metal. It really is. which, like I said, Galactus has wiped pretty much everything out. The Kree are wiping out the remaining fighters. And they just killed Annihilus. So it looks like everything is done, or is it? We do have
Right.
a little bit of kind of like an epilogue or kind of denouement to it all. You know, Thanos is still dead, and he finally got his wish. Though he's hooked up with death.
He's with death. Yeah.
He's like, hey, that's how Thanos got his groove
Black
back.
cloak and all. Black cloak and all. Just like huge smile on his face.
I was kind of happy to see him. Like, oh, he finally got his girl. Good for him. The Kree are still split in half, though. Like, they're still like, there's still faction infighting within the Kree because Kree got a Kree.
Kree got a Kree.
Nova has kind of decided he's like, I gotta go home, man. I gotta see my parents. It's been a day.
I need some R&R right now.
Which I do love. Like, speaking of that, I love that like there is a countdown or a count up or whatever. It's like Annihilation Day 1.
Yeah.
Each issue is like Annihilation Day 17, Annihilation Day 220. Like you do have like here is the sequence of events as the whole thing goes through, and it almost takes place. It's like it's almost was it like I'd say 2/3 of a year that it's like it ends on like Day 220, I think, right?
Yeah, and I do love that too because it's very very war, like D-Day, day,
it's like Annihilation, like Annihilation Day, plus 220 or something like that. It's I like that thing. Drax, of course, is still MIA at this point because he did what he had to do.
Yeah, and he did his purpose.
Yep. And it ends basically though with Annihilus created a little baby version of himself that's encased in crystal or something like that. So he's not gone yet.
Despite, not fully. No,
despite the fact that he got inverted.
Right. Somehow, some way, they made a little baby Annihilus, a baby Annihilate, and then but yeah, Drax and Moondragon were like transported by Galactus before like he blew up everything. And then on this random planet, and then Moondragon was just like, I don't know where he went.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Galactus, what happened with him and his heralds?
Well, so after issue 6, they had this 2-issue kind of follow up, which is like
Heralds of Galactus or something.
Heralds of Galactus, yeah. So the first issue was Terrax and Stardust, and Terrax basically comes to like this planet that's been taken over by excuse me, man, by this one old school cosmic, like out of nowhere type of villain who like absorbs life energy and becomes stronger. He's like fought the Hulk or something like that, and he's with Pybok. See, that's where Pybok comes all of a sudden randomly, and Terrax basically like he liberates the planet, but then he's like, and then they're like, wait, who's gonna protect us and stuff? He's like, nobody, because I'm going to destroy the planet. So he destroys the planet. It's like trying to be like
Terrax, man.
Right. It's like, his reason is like, people need to remember who I am. So this is what's going to happen. And then the other story is Stardust, who's another herald, and he's kind of like an ethereal type of being. So his planet, or like his people, were also hit by the annihilation wave. And so he finds the survivors. And he absorbs them into his being, and then to like show his loyalty to Galactus, he lets Galactus absorb the survivors of his race. So, and it becomes the second herald of Galactus, which is crazy to me. Like these 2 books were just super like, man, these heralds are not great people, like great beings at all. and then you get like the next issue, you kind of get the good ones, which is like Firelord. Basically he's on a hunt for like the remaining Annihilus forces, like Ravenous, or all those people. So
Ravenous,
Ravenous, that's what it is. Yeah, so he's on the hunt for them. So it kind of shows like him, he like defeats some Centurions, and like some of the Centurions are just like, we were forced to fight and like we're trying to stop all these other Centurions. So he's just like, okay, but if you do anything other than that,
Yeah.
I will, no matter where you are in the universe, I will find you and I will kill you. Um, and then it goes to and then the Silver Surfer, where it explains more of who Tenebris and Aegis were and where they came from. And actually, it's like they came from the young universe. And it was chaos. There's also like a chaos being like that, and that's where you kind of
Yeah.
find the origin of Screet as well.
Yeah.
And also the origin really of the Watchers. The first Watcher is comes you find where that came from as well. But and they delve into that history, but then also like he's on the hunt for them, and so he finds them, and he's like he heralds Galactus, and he's trying to like buy time for Galactus, but he's getting whooped again because it's like two Galactus beings, and in that moment because he's in the wreckage of the kiln basically because they're trying to find other survivors. He absorbs the energy of the crunch and uses that to like basically defeat both Aegis and Tenebris, where Galactus is even like he's proud and surprised. He's like, oh okay, like
This
all
works for
right,
me.
works for me, thanks man. Cool, high five, and now find me more stuff to eat.
Yeah,
um
basically.
so
That
that's
never-ending hunger.
right, exactly. So that's kind of like what happens
Post.
with
Well,
them. Yeah.
well, and also just like kind of post the Annihilation, because then there was following that there was I think almost like a year later they did Annihilation Conquest, which is a completely different set of villains and
Right.
new characters, and this reintroduces the Guardians of the Galaxy as the modern version which we know it. This is sort of like where does all of this kind of lead to? It's like this is very much in the continuity of DC, of Marvel rather, and has been like
Oh yeah.
this was the restart of their, like I said, their cosmic universe. And like I said, the MCU owes so much to these books.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me, like as we've talked about it like before. It's like what's crazy to me is like they Marvel did not care. Like yeah, do whatever you want, and like Giffen and Schmidt and Andy and Lanning and Abnett and Lanning were able to like all the cats, Simon Furman, all of them were able to create this like pocket event that like had major repercussions for the Marvel universe. It's so much so that like they literally like, oh, these are our new movies, and hey, well, we don't well, and that's when all of a sudden, no offense to Jeff John or Jeff Loeb and Brian Bendis, but suddenly like they had to like throw their weight around and be like,
Oh no,
well,
all
this is
offense
the
to
new,
them.
yeah, this is the thing. Well, we're gonna put our stamp on this now, even though these cats had all like created this on their own, based on pre-established characters, obviously, but like created these new stories and created these new events and created all these new dynamics and all of that. It's like suddenly, oh wait, this Guardians of the Galaxy book is kind of popular. Well, Brian Bendis, I'm going to write the new one. Hey, you know what I mean? Like
It's
Nova's suddenly
this.
popular now. Jeff Loeb, I'm going to jump on that and
Well,
do
not
this
only
now.
that, like that's what happened with World War Hulk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were left to do whatever they wanted, and they made an awesome, amazing story. And then Jeff Loeb took over and changed everything. And then,
Yeah.
uh,
And again, like the sad part,
so
real quick. I'm sorry.
disappointing. It
Well,
was
sad
just
part
so
is like
disappointing.
and the sad part is like Bendis and Loeb like actually are really good writers when they are writing something that you feel like they care about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I really do mean that. Like, there's some stuff like even like Bendis's Powers book right now. It's like the 25th anniversary. It's a fun book, and a lot of his new Avengers stuff I really enjoyed. Jeff Loeb's Long Halloween, I love it. There's a lot of stuff they do that I absolutely love. That I'm like, I would reread that ad nauseum. But other times it feels like they're just like, well, if it's popular, it can't be popular because we weren't involved. We have to be put our stamp on it to make it popular again. You know what I mean? It's kind of annoying. It's like let the creators just create.
Yeah,
Let Keith Giffen be Keith Giffen. Let Greg Pak be Greg Pak. Let and Lanning and
DNA.
Abnett.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, they're now split. Those guys had
I
it
know.
appears
In
that yeah,
2015, something happened.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it's like let them do that. Like let them be themselves. Like there's clearly, like it kind of goes, it reminds me of the thing like Ron Mars, who I know you don't like Kyle Rayner at all, but like when
I
they got
like
rid of
him. I
how
just don't
I
like
know,
the.
I know, I know.
I,
I get it.
you have
But
a
the point
weird
I'm trying,
obsession with him.
yeah, I know. Well, it's again, he was my 90s Green Lantern. And I think now it's funny to poke you on it. But like when they got rid of Hal Jordan, they were like, "Hey, you're the writer right now. Just create a new Green Lantern for us, and that's what we're gonna follow for that." It's like nowadays, like you would have to go through like a committee, and there'd have to be approvals and all this stuff, and it's like it's amazing when you just like let writers just hey create, or these teams just create something, and it doesn't have to go through the corporate overlord structure to to create. Well, we got to go through the four quadrants. Does it hit all the does it hit all the demographics and all this? Like, no, just let us tell good stories, like you said before. There are no bad characters, just bad storytellers. And I'm not saying that Loeb and Bendis are bad storytellers. It's just like, why did they have to like stick their nose in this corner that clearly was successful despite not in spite of them, but without them,
Yeah, they could have continued the books without changing the rules as much as they did, and like putting Tony Stark on the Guardians team, or changing all that stuff. And it's very much it's the problem that Marvel has. I think Marvel, particularly because of just how popular the MCU is, if it's not transferable to the MCU, it seems to not get any
love,
quality love.
Yeah.
Look at the Fantastic Four when we couldn't use the Fantastic Four. Look at the Inhumans now, because now Inhumans don't work in the MCU.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of crazy and disappointing, and it just like it happened with the Ultimate Universe. It happened with Hulk, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
and it just
look at the X-Men. The X-Men is a mess right now. I hate to say it, but the X-Men's a little bit of a mess right now. Post Krakoa, and even like the kind of the end. But anyway, let's talk about Annihilation.
yeah. So, but what the main thing is, like, without Annihilation, there wouldn't be those Guardians of the Galaxy movies now, or much of the cosmic Marvel MCU now.
Yes.
So
it really does owe so much of this. It owes so much of this. I know your thoughts, but so I'm going to make mine real quick, just because I feel like you have more to say. I really enjoyed this book. I found that it made me want to go back and get all of the backstory. Like I said, going back and rereading the Thanos miniseries, the kind of the Thanos series before it, tracking in some old appearances of Star-Lord and stuff like that. I give the actual event I would honestly say, like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's an A-, but like, I felt there was, the art could have been a little bit better at times. It wasn't bad, but it's like, it wasn't like, oh, this is like the most dynamic, beautiful art I've ever seen. But like for the event, it works. But I'd probably say like an A-. What about you, man?
I would definitely give this an A+ if I didn't make my thoughts known at the beginning of this podcast. But this is one of my favorite stories. It is the epitome of turning lesser known, who cares characters into primetime premium characters. I mean, Nova himself, look how easy it is to make a great character by giving a little bit of power boost, but also just a big character boost, because like we said, like he grows up in this storyline. Like even when he joins, like during prologue with the Nova Corps, like he's kind of seen as, even though he's been like in for a while, he's kind of almost like a rookie. He's just kind of like, oh, hey, how's it going?
He's very much in the prologue. He is that.
From that to ripping Annihilus inside out. So it's the progression of his character, the change in the Drax character, the introduction of Star-Lord himself, the usage of Ronin and Silver Scroll and the Kree, the usage of Annihilus. Annihilus was kind of like the lower tier Fantastic Four villain.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was known, but I mean, say he's up there with, like you said, Galactus or Doctor Doom. Like that. He's like B level, I'd say, for them.
Yeah, I mean, not even in kind of a lot of the conversations at the time of even being associated. I mean,
well, as we said, like the fans were shocked when it's Annihilus is behind it all. Like, even though literally it's in the name, Annihilation Wave. People were like, kind of like didn't see that coming, kind of thing. So it sounds like though you're liking this book though.
I like it a little bit. I think I definitely would. I guess I would definitely recommend it. It is the war book during the time where it was competing against a book called Civil War.
Have you read Civil War recently?
Not recently.
I literally
reread it.
you can pick up like the $15 version if I'm sure you
It's
have
all
Marvel
Marvel
Unlimited.
Unlimited. Yeah.
Yeah, but like it's I think we should do an episode on it because oh man, we should live. We will live up to the name. We got issues.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, let's talk about similar reading then, real quick. Real quick, Josh. I know you have some thoughts. Like, what are some really quickly? What are some similar reading things for fans that who like this book and want a little bit more of this vibe?
So definitely check out Infinity Gauntlet because
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of the precursor or it's like
Yeah.
that's the big cosmic event
Yeah.
that makes you love cosmic events.
Yep.
That's
It's the epitome of the '90s, like cosmic
yeah.
events. I would say, like it's and then not to say like it was so successful that they literally spawned two more, Infinity War and Infinity Crusade, which tied
Right.
into every book at that because Infinity Gauntlet I think ties into Doctor Strange and maybe a Thor book, and that's
Mhm.
it. Whereas like Infinity War and Infinity Crusade, is like no, we're tying this into everything. What about some of the other Abnett and Lanning books that came out after this?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I would say check out Nova.
Mhm.
Look, I mean Nova specifically, and I have this pulled up too. For
I know where you're going. I know exactly where you're going with this.
it's issue 2. So it's
Yep,
issue
there it
2
is.
where yeah, where Nova
He's gone home.
he gets home, and right when he gets home, maybe like a couple hours, like a full shield comes down, and they're just
Yeah,
like, we just got this huge energy signature. We didn't know what it was from, and like, oh, it's you. So
yeah,
Tony's like, he has a little chat with Tony,
yeah.
and like through the beginning of this chat too, like
I love. Was the lines like, "Don't you showed up at my parents' doorstep with cops? What's your problem, dude?"
right. Yeah, and then but also like no, but the whole time he's just calling him Mr. Stark, and Tony's just like, just call me
Come with
Tony.
Tony.
Like, and so like it just like yeah, so he goes, call me Tony. We scanned your power profile, Richard. You're not. How can I put this? You're not the Nova we used to know.
Yeah,
And then Nova says, like, things change, it seems. I am currently the custodian of Nova Corp's entire power source. He's like, what happened to the rest of the Nova Corps? They died in the war. And then Tony's like, what war are you talking about? He's like, I can't believe you don't know it about it. He's like, we had some intelligence via Shi'ar sources, but it was vague. Frankly, we thought it was just another Kree border squabble. We were a little busy. Like he's like condescending to him. Like,
little busy with our little
yeah.
civil war.
And so and like Richard, is attuned to that, and he's just like, galactic culture nearly collapsed. Billions died. The Skrull Empire is gone. Xandar too, along with huge chunks of the Kree territories. Quasar died in front of my eyes. Even Thanos was killed. And you heard something vague? As commander of the United Front, I sent a warning to Earth. I sent it to the Fantastic Four, Mr. Stark. And he's like, please call me Tony. I'll check with Reed. I heard warning, but I like, you say Annihilus was the driving force. What happened to him? I pulled him inside out and saved the universe. What have you done lately, Tony? And it's just that like alone
Yeah,
is worth the price of admission.
yeah.
And then right after that too, the next issue, you get the reunited just he meets up with Penance, which
Oh God,
who
so
has
April.
also gone through a big change since they
Yeah,
last saw each other. So definitely, check out the Nova series because that also goes into Annihilation Conquest, which is big,
Mm.
and also coming out of Annihilation Conquest was Guardians of the Galaxy, which is the
The
start
modern
of the
version.
team, yeah, the modern version, the start of the team that we know today, which it
Yeah.
starts off as kind of like it's during this Annihilation Conquest war, which yeah, it's
Mhm.
another war. They are like the Dirty Dozen, and
Yeah.
they do these missions to help out. It's Star Lord who's changed for the better, and then like Groot, which in that book too, like he talks
Yeah.
like
He talks.
regular.
This is not I am Groot. It's actual dialogue.
Yeah, and Rocket Raccoon, and I think Ambush Bug, and Captain Universe, and Deathcry. So it's a super fun book. It's definitely
Yeah.
like Abnett and Landing are. I think they were past the torch that Giffen
Yeah.
gave
They
them,
were.
and
Yeah.
they did very well.
There's also, like you said, War of the Kings, Realm of the Kings. There's
Yes.
Thanos
Yeah.
Imperative. Those are all like kind of more of the Marvel cosmic. If you're looking for something on the other side of the fence, though, I would say Legion of Superheroes, like the Legionnaires. Not only Keith Giffen's run on that, but like Mark Waid did a little bit of work on there, but also
Yeah.
Abnett and Lanning did a really good run on the Legion. But you
Yes.
also wrote something else in there for DC if you're looking for that DC vibes,
I
Josh.
I know this one may kind of seem out of left field, but let me explain. It's the Sinestro Corps War, and that
Mhm.
was it was an event series that was from Green Lantern. It was basically the Green Lantern Corps against the Sinestro Corps, and it has I think it's the same type of war type of
Vibe.
vibe, and
Hmm.
a bunch of different characters coming out of nowhere
Hmm.
against each other. And
Yeah.
for like, I again, we're gonna have to cover this one because it's also one of my top 10
There you go.
books like of all time. Because moments like where you see all the rings just fly over um, Hal Jordan when that initial attack
Yeah.
is just heartbreaking and harrowing. And then you get characters returning like Anti Monitor, Superboy Prime,
Yeah.
um, all like there's that one just page of just all these new people in the Sinestro Corps War, which is like
Yeah.
Cyborg, Superman, Superman
Yeah.
Prime, Anti Monitor. You're just like, oh shit.
Yeah. It just hit the fan.
Yes. So I mean it's like that type of war, cosmic war type book
Mm-hmm.
that I think has that same the same vibe or same shelf, I would say,
Okay.
as Annihilation.
That's great. That's great. I love it. I love it. And I've read most of all of these books. And the one I really have not read is kind of like the post Annihilation stuff. Like I have them, but I
Yeah.
tend to get a chance to read Conquest and War Kings, Rome Kings, all that. So I'm actually excited to kind of read those.
Yeah, Conquest is
Um,
super fun.
yeah.
Phalanx
Yeah.
wave, basically. War of Kings, which is basically Shi'ar versus Inhumans.
Yeah.
And from that happens is the Thanos Imperative, which Thanos, but also a thing like the it's called the Cancer Verse. It's kind
Yeah.
of like like how or DC did that whole dark universe. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like that. So
Okay. Well, I think that sounds good to me. Since that's kind of similar, I mean, what are you reading this week, though, that fans should check out? That is is not a part of the Annihilation circuit.
right, it's funny you mentioned it because of Annihilation, I wanted more of this whole cosmic kind of stuff, and I picked up the Abnett Landing Legion of Superheroes book.
It's good.
I was
It's
rereading that.
it's yeah, that's a real fun run. I really actually that's what got me into the Legion of Superheroes was their
Yeah,
run, believe it or not, which is back in like
it's
the mid '90s or so. It's great. Is Oliver Coipel doing the art, I believe?
yes, Oliver
Yeah,
Cole, which he was always like dynamite in
yeah, yeah.
his art.
It's yeah.
Like so many twists and turns, and just like
Oh yeah,
such a
that
great like fun. Legion is a very fun book. Like they're also like
I'm really excited for the reboot that's coming around the corner. I'm really excited for it.
I'm hopeful. We'll see.
Well, Mark Waid,
I
he's helming it, isn't he?
Okay, good. Yeah. Oh, yes, that's right. But I mean, I've been burned before,
True.
so
Yeah.
I
Well,
just need to.
yeah,
I'm always cautiously optimistic.
yeah. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, it's that was like I said, that was my inlet into that universe for the most part.
Mm.
There's a few books I've written before that, but that was one like really hooked me, I would say. Oh, that's
I
cool.
think me too. Because after I read that, I started getting all the Legion books like
Yeah,
written ever.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
Mark Wade's run, the other runs that
Hmm.
were going around that time. So yeah,
Yeah,
because Legion, it's been kind of like for the amount of times that DC has been rebooted, so has the
yeah.
Legion. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
they kind of go hand in hand. So.
yeah. That's funny.
So, what about you, Brian? What are you reading right now,
Um,
this
right.
moment, as we're
Right,
talking, which is
I'm
kind of
reading the
rude because we're
script.
talking?
No, I'm reading the script. And no,
Yeah.
the books that I'm like, I would recommend. Matt Fraction's Batman is really excellent. I'm actually really enjoying DCKO a lot.
Mm.
The other book that I'm loving a lot is the GI Joe book. But the book I kind of like needed to get away from like a lot of this. Like, I need to like kind of like a palate cleanser. I'm reading Peter David's Supergirl right now.
Mm.
I was just like, I needed like it was that or it was gonna be James Robinson's Starman, and Starman just was like, it's a little too thick right now. Like I need something that's just
Yeah.
gonna be kind of funny. And like as we've talked about Peter David before, but I wanted to read something I hadn't read since like the 90s. I'm like, you know what, this is something I'm reading right now. So yeah.
That's awesome. And for the GI Joe, which GI Joe book? It's because there's two right now, right?
Yep, I'm reading both. The Real American Hero.
Both you're recommending. Got it.
Yeah, I really like Larry Hama's Real American Hero. And in fact, actually, I'm also reading that one too. I'm going back and rereading the original stuff from the 80s. I'm reading that as well. But I'm also really enjoying like the Dreadnought War they just started, or the Dreadnought War, which they just started with. Like, it's got Duke and Cobra Commander. It ends with them handcuffed to each other on the run, being chased down by Dreadnoughts. I'm like, this is great.
Oh goodness,
just over the top, like 80s cartoon. Just I'm like, this is my jam, baby.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap it up, Josh. What do you think?
I think finally, right? We've been talking for.
This might be one of the bigger ones. This might be one of the bigger episodes.
It deserved it.
It did. I got to be up in 5 hours, so let's do this. I got to coach in 5 hours.
I think I almost got you beat. I got 3 hours, so it's going to be a fun Friday.
All right, well, let's do this.
Yeah. So again, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you for listening to us for a full year too. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you again. Really do mean a lot.
As we've been saying all year, please make sure to subscribe and hit us up on Instagram and Blue Sky. We got issues and we got issues cast and the BComp on Blue Sky. And if you like this episode, please rate us 5 stars and recommend to your friends and comment what your thoughts on Annihilation was, which miniseries you like the most as well. And it helps out the podcast and, helps us out and
makes us feel better about ourselves.
It does. It kind of gives us something like, hey, we're listening, because like on Spotify, Organized Chaos has been commenting awesome feedback and stuff. We've been loving it. So thank you very much.
I would say Gina Verso was one of our first guests. Was our first guest. He reached out to me and was like, I really love the JLA episode. I was like, thanks, dude. That really means a lot. Gene. So we'll have to have them on. Yeah, we'll have to have Gene back on again. If there is anything you want us to talk about, though, please feel free to reach out to us on the socials. I have no reason.
Let us know.
Yeah, to not do a book. If you're like, dude, I really want to know about Little Orphan Annie. I'm like, all right, well, if you want, we'll dig something up.
But I think it's even fun if it's a book that I haven't heard of, because I'd love to deep dive,
do the research. Well, that's the thing. You see, I read Annihilation a long time ago. It was fun to deep dive and learn all the history and get into it. So I love that stuff. That's the thing I actually is more almost than the book itself, is the behind the scenes on it. So please feel free to hit us up with something we don't know. As for next episode, it was going to be Hitman, and it probably still will be Hitman, but there's a lot of research I'm going to have to do into Hitman if we do that. I may decide, I'm going to talk to Josh after the episode if we're going to do something easier like Weapon X or something else. But we'll let you know. But it'll be something fun, no matter what.
I think so. If we get this out in the next if they get the next episode out in the next 2 weeks, it'll be something easier than Hitman. If it's delayed, it's going to be something around Hitman.
Hitman. That's a good way to look at it.
But no, thank you everybody for listening. Make sure to pick up some snacks from Duff and Shaw. Please. And and we will talk to you on the next one.
Peace.